Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Shaping Gender Narratives podcast. My name is Diana Kimwaki, and I'm going to be your host. I am joined by two of my friends here. So they're going to introduce themselves, tell us who they are, what they do, and why they do it. So we're going to start with Lily.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lilian Kiamba, aka Lily White. I'm a hip hop artist, producer, and a sound technician. And I'm here hoping to conversate with all of you and we find answers to some questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samuel Gitonga. I am a creative writer, director, and I'm also a mental health advocate at the community level. And I'm glad to be here so that we can shape this gender narrative to favor everyone in the community so that we can all have quality life as human beings.
Thank you so much, you guys, for coming. My name, as I said before, is Diana Kimwaki. I am a recording artist. I am also an animator, and I do a lot of work in the community, mostly in project management and a lot of other creative stuff. So we can get into that in a later episode. So last episode, what we talked about was introducing gender and all the challenges that we face as, the different genders that we are in. So today we are going to be discussing about socialization. How have we been socialized to behave according to the genders that we have associated with ourselves? So our guests today are going to be helping us conversate, and we're going to be asking questions. We're going to have an interactive episode. So I hope you guys will enjoy this one. So for our first question, we're talking about socialization. We're always hearing the word socialization, socialization. What is socialization? Tosh, tell us.
Socialization is how the society teaches us how to be as human beings and how to interact with others. So that's socialization. But when we talk about gender socialization, is how society teaches us how to behave based on our biological sex. So if you are born biologically female, you'll find yourself being taught how to be a girl. If you're born biologically male, you're taught how to be a boy. Yes, so that's socialization.
Okay, really?
For me, I feel socialization, thank you, Tosh, and socialization is that process of learning and internalizing those norms and beliefs in the society. And like you said, they're given to different genders. Like when you're a boy, girl, you're given different roles and you are taught how to do them to become a person in the society. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So that would mean that we are not born boys and girls. We're just born male and female.
Male
Yeah.
and female.
So we are taught. It's like
Yeah.
gender. There's this. They say gender is a construct. So it's
Yes.
something that has been built
Yeah.
as we continue to grow.
Yeah.
So, in what places have we been taught these things? Like, as you grow up, in what areas have we just decided in society that they're going to show us this is how you're going to become a good girl, a good woman. This is how you're going to be a good boy and a good man as you grow. Yeah.
Okay, so the various agents of socialization in our society. So you'll find there's a family is the primary social agent, and then there's a school, church, or religion, our workplaces, and very many other places that teach us or keep on singing that narrative of what a boy looks like, or what a man looks like, what a girl looks like, or what a woman looks like.
I can give an example. For example, the family, when you're born, when you've been given that sex, you are boy and girl. Now they teach you now the roles now that you have. They will tell you that women are supposed to be polite, women are supposed to be at home to raise children and stuff like that. Then they tell men you're supposed to be aggressive, violent, you have to go to school, get this education. Now that's an example, of family as an agent of socialization.
Um,
You can add to that.
I'm just internalizing what she has said, that a boy is taught how to be aggressive. I'm just wondering why I'm not aggressive or violent, because I grew up in a single mom family, and it's quite different for a male that growing up with a single mom. So you realize there's nothing that is except that time when she's reminding you that you are a boy, you're going to become a man. But otherwise, everything else, the chores, especially for me, in my case, I grew up as the only child and realized that it's me and her. So if there are chores, there is no one to divide the chores among. So there is no, you're the sister here, wash the utensils.
Yeah.
I'll take out the cows to graze. It's everything for you. So wash the utensils, cook. And then mom will be like, I'm going to work. And then after that, wewe ndio utaenda kuchunia ng'ombe.
And I think that's because we say that gender is dynamic, is also it varies from one place to another, like with time and different communities. You'll find that some roles that in a certain community or society they think is for women, but you go in another one, that role that has been given is for men.
For men.
Yeah.
Like,
it varies.
like in the Maasai culture,
Yeah.
I hear it's women who build houses. Where I grew up, it's men who do that job. It's rare upate mwanamke ameshikilia nyundo anagongelea mabati building a house. So yeah, with culture it differs. Yep.
I think that's an important point because from the family, that's where everything comes from. When your mom dresses you, actually, as a kid, they give you cute dresses and things with mafiriri, those things that come out like that, and cute shoes and cute tops, and you have to wear the bows and everything.
A crown.
Yeah, exactly.
Tiara. It's called a tiara.
Yeah, the tiaras. And then the boys are wearing like really cool shoes, like sneakers and everything. Like it was so bad. I remember myself, my mom is one of those people that raised you. She raised me in a way that she was like, no one will tell me how to raise my child. So they were like, oh, girls should wear dresses. And she's like, no, my baby's not going to wear a dress. Or if I wear a dress, I don't wear like cute shoes. I wear like sneakers like that, She was like, you can't tell me how to raise my child. But then you would find like her decision was criticized a lot by the people around her because everyone is like, girls should be in dresses, girls should do this, girls should do that. I remember being told not to play with the other boys because they were playing aggressively, which was like telling me not to play at all because a lot of the kids around were boys. You can't climb trees, why? You can't sit like this, why? Like the thing is, there's this saying that goes, boys, you're all kids. Up until a certain point where kids stop being kids, boys remain boys, but girls have to change that as they continue to grow, right? So now you're being told, is it cheza na hawa watu? You can't do this, you can't do that, That's the family part. And then when you go to school, again, same thing. You have these roles, mahali. Who washes the class? Who is dusting the blackboard? Nani anaenda kwa staff room kupelekea walimu vitabu? Things like that. I remember a conversation as I had some little boys, I think they were in grade 3. 3 of them were talking, and then this one was complaining, and he was like, unajua, when I was in school, he fought with a girl. And he was saying that if as a man, as a boy, you fight with a girl, you're the one who's going to get punished. Whether or not umechapwa, hiyo ni yako. Whether or not you're the one who started it, hiyo ni yako. So even if the girl was the one who started the fight, you're still the one who's going to get punished. Even if it was the girl who beat you up, you're still the one who's going to get punished. You're not going to get punished because there's that notion of boys wakipigana, it's okay, but girls are not supposed to be violent. You're not supposed to go into these things. And you can see this is something that is going from the family to the school. We're internalizing it as we go.
Just a question, you've reminded me something. Do you now climb trees?
I don't because
Me, I
I'm too
do.
lazy to do that. Like, no, I used to do that. We used to have a tree outside of our house. So we used to climb. And then now my great grandmother, before she died, you would hear her, like, Nadia, and then she comes in and then she pinches you. Like, I have scars. She had like really like long nails. But it was, the point of all of that was the fact that even
yeah.
if I was a girl, I think what made me like that was the fact that everyone around me didn't care. Obviously, there were those small nuances of unajua when msichana unafaa kukaa hivi, when you wear a dress or when you wear something. There's those small nuances that are going to remind you that you're a girl. You should behave a certain way. But generally, outside of that, there was always the bigger picture of even the way, like, I am a firstborn, I'm the only girl. But there's no difference between me. My mom, up until, I think, up until maybe 5-7 years ago, she would tell everyone she has 4 boys. Like, she didn't have a girl in the house. She had 4 boys, and that was that.
Yeah.
And you see, she didn't go to lengths to try and put that kind of like what other people would see as femininity in me. She just let me be and let me do. Although I regret that sometimes, but yeah, she just let me become that. So that's how important like the family is
Yeah.
when you're growing up.
Something else we are forgetting to mention, which is it's part of what nurtures us as whether it be boys or girls. That is the religion places. Like for myself, I grew up as an altar boy, and in our church, boys were given the opportunity to be altar boys, and then the girls were given the opportunity to be liturgical dancers. I don't know, if you know those. If you are Catholic, you'll know these. Liturgical dancers ni those girls who, when the mass is starting, they'll be dancing,
I've seen that.
Wow.
And then the altar boys are the ones up there at the altar with the priest. So you realize that if you were talented or you enjoyed dancing, you wouldn't fit in the liturgical dance if you're a boy, because obviously utakuwa out of place somehow. If you're a girl and you wanted to serve, you wouldn't be given the chance. Except nowadays, they're opening up some few churches allowing girls to be liturgical dancers, boys to be liturgical dancers, and girls to be altar boys. Oh,
Altar children.
altar children. So, yeah. So you realize this shapes how we think and how we grow. Even now as grown-ups, you find that there are roles in the church you'd see a woman playing and you'd be like, no, that's quite
That's very
awkward.
weird.
Yeah.
Peculiar. Yeah. I can make a comment on how the media is socializing us. You find that they set these standards, especially in the creative industry. For women, I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine just the other day, and she was saying, there's this standard where women, you have to do like your nails, you have to do makeup all the time, and especially in the creative industry. And if you don't, then they find you really strange, So through the media, they've set these standards, beauty standards for women, and that's why you see there's also the point of how women are portrayed as sex. You said sexy.
Sex symbols,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, yeah.
Yeah. And you find that it's a car advert, and then they have to put a woman there, a pretty woman, Yeah, so that's.
But don't you think that's based on professionalism? Like you want to be a model, because even males, like for me, I can't be put in a tourism billboard, because tourism is highly associated with being sexy, because I'm a little bit skinny, so they'll put a man who looks like, So if you have categorized yourself as what should I say, as a model who is open to pulling out your shirts, or a female model who is willing to just being there on screen on a bikini. I think that's more into professionalism.
Well, we can
it-
say mostly it's the women
Yeah.
who are, especially in the hospitality industry, it's been termed as a women's industry. We can say it's only right now that we're seeing men shine in the hospitality industry. Am I right?
Yeah, but I can also say that's part of socialization. Because as we grow up, when you're watching something, when you watch movies, when you watch series, they always like the guy is going to end up with a pretty girl. She's going to be like this, and women are taught. There's this point where there's this what's her name? There's a poet that says, men are, they're taught how to work together. They're taught how to build themselves and to cooperate together and do stuff like that. Women, however, are raised to be wives. So I'm just paraphrasing. It's in, I know the name, but it's gone. Like imepotea kabisa, but I know what I'm talking about. What she says is that women are taught to be wives. So what we are doing is that we are competing for the attention of men. So how do you do that? Because men are always saying that they're visual creatures. So you see, what attracts you to something is how it looks to you. So if it looks visually attractive, you're like, yes, yes,
saying
that
it.
one.
I'm gonna spend my money on it.
Yeah. So the thing is that we've been taught that you need to attract men. How do you attract people? You have to dress a certain kind of way. You have to speak a certain kind of way. There's men who are like, we don't like loud women. We don't like women who speak their minds. We don't like women who do this. We don't like women who do that. Like somebody is like, oh, when you're going out, somebody wants you to dress a certain kind of way, right? You're not dressing for yourself. You're dressing to impress somebody else. But back to your point is the fact that if somebody has made an active choice to do that, that's a choice that
That's
they're
a
making.
choice.
That's on them. It's like the way I can decide I want to be a housewife. That's my choice. If you decide you want to be a house husband, that's your choice.
Is there a chance for me to do that?
If you find the right person, yes. Yeah. So that's the thing, because men haven't been given that choice before.
Yeah.
Because it's the idea we have is that men are providers. So if a man is not providing, so they're not really a man.
Doing their
That's the whole idea
That's the
that
whole
comes with that,
concept.
right? Which annoys me, because you're a grown person. Let's say, for example, you stay on your own. Who's going to come from where they're coming from to cook for you, to clean your house, to clean your clothes, to do all that stuff? You'll be doing this on your own. But then when you're married, now you don't know how to do anything at all. You can't cook, you can't clean, you can't do anything. You see?
Okay. I can't. I don't know.
It's a
Yeah,
different case.
you're a different thing.
No, I don't know how it feels because I'm not married. But if I found a person who, when I go to clean, they're like, oh, what are you doing? That's my job. I'll be like, okay, you take your job. Me, I'll sit nitandaze miguu na nisome gazeti. Oh, siku hizi niingie social media.
Mi nilisema, I will never, ever even date somebody who can't even cook. What value are you adding to India? That is my personal thing.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we've strayed from the original point. So we've talked about the agents of socialization as media, the workplace also. I think that's something we haven't mentioned in the workplace, where women dress a certain kind of way. And even if a woman is rising to the top, it's like, oh, she must have slept with someone to get to a certain level. That's what, there's apparently sex is a currency, as it comes and it goes.
The rule of the fathers, like, you hear this name, sweetheart, in the workplace. And
Yeah. Everyone is trying to call you by a certain name other than your own.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We are sorry. We are sorry.
Yeah. So and we have the issue of equal pay, where women are not being paid the same as men, even if they're doing the same kind of work.
Yeah.
And that they have the same kind of roles. So there's those things. We've talked about religion, we've talked about the family, we've talked about the school,
yeah.
and in all of this we have also the issue of leadership. It's right now it's coming up, yes, but even then you find like a lot of women who are leaders, there's always a man behind them. There's a man making the decisions. There's someone pulling the strings. I'm not saying all. I haven't said all of them. I've said in most cases you will find
There's a man.
there's a man.
Oh,
You
they
find
are
like
under fire also all
exactly,
the time.
yeah. So if you find like maybe somebody is a CEO of a company, you can find that maybe 75% of the board of directors are men. You get issues like that, and you know they're the ones who sometimes make the decisions that affect the company. So it's like you have zero power almost. You get so there's
We
issues
always
like
have to
that.
work like women in leadership. You have to work twice as hard as the men.
So that you can be respected as well.
Yeah.
There's always those little comments that are thrown at you because
They're
you're a
always
woman.
watching you to make one mistake and you're cancelled.
Yeah. So now I want us to talk about how these issues, this roles and everything that we've discussed, when it comes to the culture and the creative industry, how have they affected how we operate as human beings in the culture and the creative industry, taking in our different genders and the challenges that we're all facing? What are the results? What are the causes that we're having and the effects that we're having when it comes to socialization? Yes. So we start with Lily.
We can say there's, for example, in our creative industry, I said I'm a hip hop artist, and we have a less representation of women in the hip hop sector because it's a man's world. It's always been the men. Even in the 80s, 90s, you can count the women who are doing hip hop music. Even right now, you can plan something and you call women just to include them, but some of them won't show up because there's that, can you say intimidation? Because hip hop is about like courage and stuff and speaking up, and there's usually there's less representation of women in the industry because it started as a man's thing, rapping. And it's so strange. Even me, personally, I couldn't tell I felt strange. I started rapping like 5 years ago, and I couldn't tell my parents that I'm doing hip hop. I never even shared the music, like to my dad especially, until I won my first award. When I brought home the trophy, that's when I said that I do music. I was on the newspaper, you can see, and he was actually happy. And like after that, now he's been supportive. He tells people I rap and stuff. But before because of the way we've been raised, that this was a men's thing. I never had the courage to tell them until I had something to show for it. Yeah.
So, remember us saying school influences what we become. I don't know if you remember our textbooks. There's a way they used to illustrate careers. So you'll find if they're illustrating a doctor, it's a
man.
If they're illustrating a nurse,
It's a woman.
it's a woman. So you find even in the creative industry, when you talk of a rapper or a hip hop artist, what comes into your mind? The first thing comes into your mind?
A man.
A rugged man, mwanaume wa miraba minne.
Misuli tinginya.
Misuli tinginya. Yes, mwenye akona tattoo imeandikwa thug life, a rough thing. And even of late, we've seen women who do rap, they want to come out rough. They're portraying it as a rough thing. But my point was the way the school shaped our thinking of women do the soft things and then men do the rough things. You find even, I'm surprised that she's a hip hop artist and she's also a music producer, because in every 5 music producers, you'll find it's rare to find a female producer. So you'll have to walk to the 6th, 7th, or even maybe the 8th to find a female music producer. And even in the theater world, for instance, I work as a theatre director, and you'll find that the roles that are there to be played, women will pick up stage manager. Nowadays, they're picking up things like sound engineer, light technician, but set construction, hiyo ni wanaume watashike nyundo.
Lifting heavy
Lifting
subs.
heavy things, hiyo ni wanaume wacha wanaume wajibambe huko. But it's very rare to find women playing those roles that we were culturally socialized to think that these are rough roles and they should be played by men only. And sometimes women make very brilliant technicians when it comes to those roles that we tend to think are rough. Like for instance, I love listening to Cardi B and what's her name? Nimesahau jina yake.
Nicki.
She said she's a king from Jamaica. He owned a couple of acres.
Nicki.
Minaj.
Yes, Nicki Minaj. So yeah.
There's a point you said that in the technical departments, women are coming up. Our friend said that in this, when she goes for events, she's a sound engineer, but she's given the stage management to hand the mic. If it's Sauti Sol performing, she's the one who's handing the mic, but she can operate the mixer too. So that's a big challenge for women who want to grow in the technical departments, because it was formerly the men's departments, and now women are coming into these departments, and it's been challenging for them to actually be treated equally because they have equal qualifications as a men, but then they're being given the easy serving. Like when women came into the workforce, they were mostly secretaries back then. There's still that mentality. Women are receptionists, secretaries, and assistants. Yeah.
On the other hand, I've met quite very courageous women who know how to take up their power, whereby there's that point whereby we say power is not given. So if, for instance, you apply a job as a sound engineer, it's your role as an individual to make sure that no one messes around to soften up your role, because you're a woman. Now you shouldn't be operating the sound. You are given that job, take it up. I'll just use the words that we commonly use in the society. Man up and take up that job.
Man up.
Man up and take that job, and don't let anyone mess around with it.
Don't be a woman.
Or woman up. Don't let anyone mess around with that job, because at the end of the day, if you're given a role and you play softly, or you tend to be, when you're pushed, you fall with the wind. Whether you're a man or a woman, people would mess around with you. Because if you're given the role of a sound engineer, and when you're busy at the mixer, somebody hands you the microphone and tells you, go take it to act like a flower girl.
That reminds me of something in an illustration I saw about equality and equity. About, like, you said, you give them the opportunity to become sound engineers, all of us. But when it's challenging, then there's no equity. Someone is being treated unfair, and you need to give them a leg up so that they can reach, like, because they were no longer privileged or given the opportunity. Am I right? You give them now the leg up to also reach that place. I think that's an important point that we should also be looking at, that there were people, it was always a man's world, but now we are trying to, for example, we are trying to empower women.
True.
Especially now, we're talking about technical departments in the music industry or the creative industry. If it's, that illustration, like I'm saying, there are 3 stools on the same level, but then there can be someone with a wheelchair. So even if you put the stools and they have to stand to reach an apple on the tree, the person who's seated on the wheelchair or a short person won't be able to reach the apple.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
now if you can bring a ramp, something to lift them up, that can, now we have to look for ways now we can empower these women so that they can take up now those places with confidence now.
True.
Yes.
My point is basically when we are at the workplace, you'll find like, for instance, as you said, as men we are taught to work in teams. So when a woman comes in our team, you'll find it for easy for men to seclude the woman. So it's also our responsibility because, like, for instance, for me, I have a background in literature, which is mostly known to be a female's
Female
world.
industry.
True.
Yeah.
Like you'll find in our class, in a class of 700 students, 500 were women.
Ooh.
And then the 200 ndio tunajaza hapo. So we, as a man who is in a industry which is filled with women, it's also our duty to take up the power that we need for us to survive in that industry. So if you're a woman and you got that job that that is culturally known to be a man's world, know you are walking in a terrain that has no route.
You've broken the society norms already.
Yes, Google Maps haina your route. So ni wewe ujue vile utapambana na hao watu. Because again, as I said, we are culturally socialized to work in teams. So know if you are facing a challenge as a sound engineer, how will you elevate somebody else with the knowledge that you need to come and assist without treating you or without looking at you as a person who doesn't qualify for that position just because you asked a question. And that's a normal thing in any industry. Sometimes to take up a role and utafika pale utakwama and you'll need to ask a question.
For help, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked extensively about the music industry, and to sum it up, there were statistics. I don't know if that for this year, but they were saying in the Billboard 100, the songs that are on the Billboard 100, only around, I think, 1% were written by women.
Ooh.
So generally, there are the 30% of the industry is women. Only less than 10% are producers, less than 27% are performers, and less than, I think, 5% are songwriters. And then there's the music executives as well, the managers, the people who are working in the
Label
A&R and
owners.
labels and all of that. So in the music industry, there's that. But there's also the challenges that we face as, as women and as men. So for example, as many recording artists you have, even not as recording artists, basically as creatives, there's this idea that just because a girl is pretty, she has already, you have an automatic pass. And they did that with someone. There's this artist who was signed as a rapper. And then once her first song was out, everyone was like, oh, you guys only hyped her up because she's pretty, but she's not that good at whatever she's doing, And then you have even the movies that we watch, the roles that are given.
You've reminded me of a very important point is that you see women like being caregivers, as a society has said, like in the creative industry, once you have like your child or a family, you're expected to be home by at this time, and the creative industry is demanding working overtime, like most events are at night. So you find it's challenging because you have to go home to your baby and enjoying this creative industry. So I feel that's a challenge for women who are caregivers.
And even the roles that were given, we've seen a lot of in theater. When somebody writes a script There's a role specifically for women, and it's not in a like maybe it's in leadership, but again, she has to have a man by her side. She has a family. She has this. It's a man. He looks a certain kind of way. There's those things that we've done with whatever that we're doing in the creative sector that has brought up a lot of challenges in the way that we cast and in the way that we do everything that we're doing in the industry as well. We have this, and I had mentioned this before, when people use sex or sexual favors as currency. So as a woman, when you're going to the studio, you don't have money. So what do? You pay another kind of way. But a man who comes there and somebody is like, "Miss Sina Pesa," the producer will be like, and out of it.
And also they can also be asked to pay more because you are a man.
But even now, men also are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's also that's coming up as well. And also it's easier for women to get support as well than men, because mwanamke, you're soft. You'll be able to sweet talk people into giving you whatever you need. But mwanaume utambe Buddha, tabidi tumejisort. There's those kinds of things. Yeah, exactly. So there's always those kinds of things in the industry that we continue to face in the creative space. And so we have talked extensively. Would you like to add something?
I wanted to ask a question. There's a point whereby she said, as a woman, there are several roles you play. And I find it not only in the creative industry, but basically in the talent industry with athletes, for us performers and creatives. When a woman transitions to become a mother, probably her career would be on a downfall.
That's true. I mean, that's why these are like gender stuff. For some weird reason, people expect that when you start a family, now your focus, you stop being anything else other than a mother. That's why in most societies you find mtu akipata mtoto anaacha kuitwa na jina yake, anakuwa mama nani, baba nani. So that's what happens in a lot of these societies. Mostly unasikianga mtu anaitwa mama nani, because that's what, you stop becoming yourself, you become a mother. You become, you are a parent of a child. But the thing that comes with that is that we've been socialized into the idea that women are caregivers. Your job is to nurture, your job is to raise your child, your job is to be there to make sure that your family is whole and your family is well put together.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, as a creative, being a creative, even to bila watoto, bila anything, it's difficult in itself. For you to be able to get to certain places, it's difficult. It takes a lot of hard work. Na ukislack it kidogo, you go back down a level or something. Not by your skills, but by the output that you're having. Ni kama uache, somebody is an artist, they stop making music for a year. What happens? People forget. So akirudi tena, anaanza starting point ya chini kwanza. Even if it's not 0, it goes back. If alikuwa level 10, most likely ataanzia maybe level 6 huko tena. That's where it starts again. So when you become a mother, there's things that, one, your body changes. Tuanzie hapo. Your body changes. So when your body changes, you stop being this sexy people were seeing. Like, I'd give you an example of Beyonce. Beyonce, when she had her twins, she did this documentary for her film for when she was doing Coachella. She did the Homecoming, the film. It's on Netflix. And throughout that, she records her journey of when she was pregnant until, she gave birth, and she's talking about it, and she's talking about how she had to go on a diet. She had to do all these rigorous exercises. She was eating maybe, I think, an apple or something a day so that she can get back to the image and whatever, visual.
People are used to seeing.
Yeah, exactly. So she has to get back to a certain point, And then you have, like you said, Wahu also had to take a break in her music as well, so that she can take care of her family. So when people do that, when you have a kid, everyone is always like, oh, sasa huyu ameachana na hiyo, Sasa afocus na familia yake. Ama huyo aache kazi afocus na vitu zake. So there's a lot of things that are there in the creative industry. There's a lot of challenges that we had. And now, Lily White, you had something prepared for us.
Oh, yes.
Take it away.
Oh, immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a piece. It's a rap piece. It's called Radically Socialized. I will explain after. Listen carefully. Yeah. I wasn't raised this way. No, we don't do that here. Multiple shades of gray. I hope you see that clear. Look, I hope you see that clear. Because civilization needs order, but I'm getting older. I'm yearning for freedom. They say that freedom is venom. They say that freedom is venom. I wasn't raised that way, we don't do that here. Multiple shades of gray. I hope you see that clear. Yeah, I hope you see that clear. Yeah, they told me by 25 you must have your own family. That's why I spent so many years trying to achieve. But guess at 25 I was leaving my first job. I guess at 25 I was finding my own way past there. But I can see the look on their faces when I pass by, like there's something wrong with that girl. When you try to break the norm, they're looking at you sideways, and that's how you know you broke out of the matrix, yeah. And so I let them know that they can box me. I'm a creative existing in a man's world. I'm feeling like an invader, rebel to the system. They can call me a traitor, but I'm on a narrow path and I must reach my full potential. It's not easy doing this thing. Learning and unlearning can seem so peculiar, but that's why I find myself saying, I wasn't raised this way. We don't do that here. Multiple shades of gray. I hope you see that clear. Yeah, I hope you see that clear. Civilization needs order, but I'm getting older. I'm yearning for freedom. They say freedom is venom. They say that freedom is venom. See, I can be radically socialized, but not a total conformist. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah, that's, I find so the piece is called Radically Socialized, is that socialization has had an impact in my life and there's nothing I can do about that. But I have my own mind. I can make my own choices, my own decisions. Like, I'm growing up and I want freedom, but then there's this civilization of the society that needs a certain way in order to maintain order in the society. But I want to break out of that, and I feel like I already did. First of all, I'm doing things that were meant to be, that are not normal. So being a creative, I cannot be boxed. I am radically socialized. It's okay. I find myself saying, I wasn't raised some things. When I see things, I'm like, I wasn't raised that way. No, we don't do that here. It's okay. I believe in such things, but I'm not totally conformed to these things that I think for myself. Yeah, so that was it.
That's so nice. That's so pretty.
I love your poetry skills.
Thank you.
And also your flow.
Thank you.
On a flow, I'd love to hear. Are you on YouTube or have you recorded any?
Yes, I have recorded since 2018. I have my music on all platforms that you can think about, the DSP, so Spotify, Boomplay, and on YouTube, definitely, everywhere.
Okay.
I
Mutashare
go by
link.
Lily White. Yeah.
Mutashare link tukitoka hapa na utashare na watu wengine. Tafuteni
Yes.
Lily White. You can see more of her work there.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's this thing I saw on TikTok that says, if, ask a reader or a writer. So I don't know if you're readers. Okay, you're a writer. Are you a reader? You're a writer because you write, right? So if you take that into perspective, and this is a book that you're writing, what would be the last line of your book? Yeah. So we're going to use that as our parting shot for the day.
Me, I think I'd say whatever I've said right now.
So
Like I have said, I am be a radically socialized person, but not a total conformist. Yeah.
I'd say what I have learned in this world, whether you are a man or a woman, we all need that equality. And there's no one who is going to hand you the microphone without you stretching for that microphone and saying, I need this microphone, I have something to say. So we all need that platform that is equal for all of us, whether you're a man or a woman, female or male. No one is special, and there is no longer a man's world. The moment tuliingia class 1 pamoja, it's that way. Probably even in death, there's nothing. What is killing women is also killing
Men.
men.
All right. So my parting shot would be my last line would be at least at the end of the day, I was able to make a difference for the next. For the next girl, for the next little boy, for the next,
Even anyone who's going to watch this podcast.
Yeah, so at least at the end of the day, I did my part.
You did yours.
So, are you going to be doing your part? Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We're so happy to have you listening to the Shaping the Gender Narrative podcast. So be sure to listen to the next podcast that come in. We're so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Tosh, for coming. And goodbye, everyone.